What's going on, fam? And welcome back. It's your boy, Filthy Saint. I have been getting asked for months now to do an updated video on my Azeron software and my keybind specifically for Warzone. So here we go. Without further ado, let's jump into it and let's show you guys what we're rocking with, how to get your Azeron set up, maybe some different techniques and ideas that you can possibly apply to help speed up your transition over to the Azeron and the mouse. Without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, guys, we got our Azeron software right here. I'm going to show you really quick. This is it. First and foremost, when you first get your Azeron, jump online, search Azeron software, download the software, make sure it's all updated. Here you go. Okay, let's jump into a few important things that we want to start with this. First and foremost, getting your calibration set up with your stick. Okay, if you click on the settings page here on the front, go down and click calibrate. It's going to walk you through. It takes 5 seconds. Get your stuff calibrated. This is going to show you what it recommends you have for your lower, your upper dead zone, as well as your offset. This I feel like is all is going to be changed more often than not as you play with it and kind of get comfortable with where you want your directions to sit. Anyways, that lower and upper dead zone though, these are pretty accurate, very helpful in making it feel more natural like a controller. Okay, so I highly recommend you go through that calibration setup. All right, so now let's jump back into our settings here, specifically with how I have it for Warzone. We're going to start with the analog stick. I was originally using the Xbox 360 analog stick and keyboard. Really just the keyboard is what it was, as Warzone does not have like the 360 movement necessarily. Okay, so we have to improvise. I started using recently this keyboard, as you see there in parentheses, Fortnite edition with this. Anyways, and apparently it makes it so that the allows 90-degree camera in relation to running direction as opposed to the default 45 degrees. I haven't noticed any necessarily big difference in Warzone with the camera, all right? But what I do feel like is comparing the keyboard Fortnite to regular keyboard, it feels a little bit more smooth for me going with the Fortnite version, so why not? That's what I went ahead and did. Every once in a while, if you notice that you're getting stuck, like it's not moving when you jump into a game, sometimes you have to come into your software, click keyboard, and then apply it, and then go back into the Fortnite one, click and apply that, and it'll work. Okay, it's only happened to me once, but just figured I'd throw it out there. The angle is what I was referring to. This number is going to change, and I played with this until I found something that's really natural and good feeling for me. The way you want to do that is we back out of here and you go to your Azeron itself and push forward. Okay, you want this forward. When you push forward, you want it to be pretty dang close to the W anytime you're just trying to go forward. Okay, that's the biggest thing there. Wherever you feel like forward is for you, that's where you want to adjust this. So for you, if you was to move over here and you're pressing forward and it's coming off to the side, you'd want to decrease that angle. Okay, so you decrease this number and that's going to bring it back up this way. Okay, vice versa, if you feel like it's coming over here as you're pressing forward, then you'd want to increase that angle so that that same direction you're pressing falls closer to the W. Pretty simple. Okay, but that's how that works. It's important you take some time and really calibrate that perfectly, as that's going to make your movement in game a lot more smoother. Lower and upper dead zones, this is where you get that information from how you calibrated. This is what I have mine set to. If you don't like yours, feel free to try mine. But again, each analog is slightly different. They're pretty dang close, but there could be some slight differences there. So go ahead and run that calibration. Sensitivity, it says lower is more sensitive. I have just found that 1 is just perfect for me. Okay, this is another one I have played with from 0 all the way up to the max. I just feel like 1 is like the best for me. I'm not getting any small stupid jitter movements that can happen at 0. But 1 just like eliminates that, and it still allows me to be able to quickly press buttons and have full control over my my movement. So that's what I went with mine. If you want to try this out, feel free. But definitely spend some time and play with this, guys. Get it calibrated. Get that set up, because that's going to be your biggest frustration, is having movement that's not feeling natural, right? That's how you get that feeling natural. Now let's jump onto some of our controls, and I'm just going to kind of move over with some of mine here. So for Warzone specifically, you can see I don't have everything programmed. I use more than not of the buttons here, but I don't necessarily use all of them. R here flicking to the right for me. This is going to be my reload. Okay, so I have that set to R. Pulling back on my index finger is going to be my main interaction button, F, right? Pick stuff up, open doors, jump in cars, whatever. That's going to be that there. Moving over a little bit to the left, pulling back with my middle finger is going to be my crouch and or slide. Okay. Moving to the left even more, I have jump is my ring finger. This feels so good for me. I love this. Okay. It allows me to do a lot of quick movements while holding shift in my pinky finger. It allows me to run, quickly jump, and then, using my middle finger, I can slide pressing C, right? So it's kind of like it's nice having all of those functions for like the movement necessarily as the pullback for me. That's just, it keeps them all consistent, and it's super easy. Okay. Take some time, regardless of anything that's new, to learn it. Don't get frustrated, but this is how I like setting it up. Having these three right here as pullbacks, as my jump, my sprint, hold breath, and then crouch. Okay. If I want to lay down, then that's going to be control. It's going to be the same finger that I would use for crouch, but it's going to be the pushing down. Okay. So the actual push down is going to be lay down, push down, lay down. They kind of roll together, right? and that's what I have for my main movements. Okay. As you can see, the Z down here, this is going to be the thumb button that you can flick off on your Azeron as you lift your thumb off the analog stick. I have that set to Z, which is mount. Okay, so it allows me, if I get up to a wall or a window, I can just flick my thumb. It's going to mount me. And as soon as I try moving off of that window, even if I don't press Z again, it's going to unmount me. Okay, I like having it right there so it doesn't get in the way of anything else. And it just seems perfect for me having it off to the side there. You don't really use the actual stick itself, like the 4-direction button little stick that's right above the analog stick there. I don't really use that. I have it just set up for up, down, left, right, but you don't really use that in game. Okay, some people might use that for like grenades or non-lethals potentially. I don't really see much of a use for this in Warzone, as there's not a ton of controls. Okay, moving on to some more important controls though is first and foremost, flicking forward your middle finger. I have that set number 4 here is for my plating. Okay, so I have mine set to plate all, so I just flick forward and it'll just keep plating unless I physically or manually stop it, right? It's just going to fill up my plates for me by flicking forward with my middle finger. Flicking forward with my ring finger is 3 over here. This is going to be set for my kill streaks. Okay, so if you get UAVs, airstrikes, clusters, whatever it may be, flicking forward with my ring finger is going to activate that for me, okay? Then the last but not least, as far as activating items here, X, that's going to hit like my stopping power rounds or munitions box. Okay, that's what that's set at for me. As you can see, I don't have any action set for like my index finger pointing down or pushing down, my ring finger pushing down, or my pinky pushing down. I feel more comfortable with the flicking forward and pulling back movements myself, besides the middle finger. That one's just a little easier because it's a longer finger. Okay, it just seems a little easier for me to push down if I need to. Moving up to some of these other buttons that I use, there's 4 other buttons that I use with this, and I'm going to recommend that you guys do. First one is tab. As I pull up, lift my hand basically up just a tad. My middle finger is going to press my tab. This is going to open up my inventory, so if I need to drop ammunition or check to see what I have in there, I can just do that pretty quickly. Right to the side of that, M, this is my pointer finger here again, the index finger. This is going to be pulling up or putting down my map, okay? Flicking to the very top with my pointer finger, that's what I have set for escape. So if I'm on a box, I need to quickly jump off the box, I can do that. Super easy. Or if you're just in the menu or settings, whatever, you can just flick up and it'll back you out. Now this one's a little different. This was not in, some of this stuff's a little different from my first video. This specifically right here is not, okay? I highly recommend you guys give this a shot. I wasn't using this button prior, but I learned something new fairly recently with Modern Warfare. There are some macros that if you, for example here, W plus space will automatically buy whatever you click on the buy. So to give you an example of this, normally, let's say you want to buy a UAV, you're going to click the UAV and then you've got to move your mouse down and click yes. Okay, it doesn't take a ton of time, right? But when you're playing Warzone, sometimes those split seconds make a difference from, living or dying, right? So what this allows you to do is as soon as I click Warzone, if I just flick my middle finger up and hit that button next to the escape on the very top there, it'll automatically buy whatever I click on. So if I click UAV, I just flick up and it's bought. I don't have to go down and click yes, okay? Or if I've got to buy back a teammate, I'm just going to click on their name and I'm going to flick my finger up. it's going to activate W plus space and automatically buy that person back. So it does speed you up, saves you a little bit of time. Highly recommend you guys start practicing with that. It will help as you get it down. Okay. These are what I have set for my Azeron. Now you're probably wondering, hey, there's a few things missing. And this is what I messed up on my first video. There's a few things missing here, and that's because I didn't add what I do on my mouse. I didn't add some important things that need to be there, guys. One of the most important things that has to be done if you want to be a high-tier Warzone player is you have to be good at pinging for your teammates. You got to mark where people are, right? You have to have that quickly and accessible. So I've added that to my mouse. So let's pull up my mouse really quick so you can see what mine looks like. I run the Logitech G604 Lightspeed. I'm going to go over to my keys, flip over to the side. I love this mouse. Okay, one of the things I love about this mouse is the placement of the side buttons. You can see I've got 6 buttons on the side of my mouse that I can choose from, programmed to whatever I want. I have mine set for here so you can see my bottom left one here. I have this set for ping, so I can quickly ping enemies as I'm fighting without like taking away from any of my aiming, anything else. Like it's just right there on my thumb. So I can still be shooting at people and pinging at the same time without it affecting anything, right? Whereas if you've got ping set up on a controller and you've got it set to your analog stick, if you're clicking into ping, for example, that could be throwing off your aim. Okay. Same thing with the mouse. You don't want to deter anything away from your aiming that's going to be on your mouse. So the only buttons or actions I would ever recommend putting on your mouse are things that are not going to take away or affect your aiming. Okay, so these 4 things that I put on here do that perfectly. Number 1 being the ping. Okay, pulling back right behind this one on the bottom, I run this as my melee. So where it says back, that's actually melee for me. I have it programmed in the game to whatever that is to be melee. All right. So ping, melee, and then the top 2 are the ones I use. I do not use these 2 back ones here. I have them available if I need, but I haven't found a use for them between the Azeron and the mouse. The 4 is perfect for me. So let's I've got to quickly turn this down real fast so we don't want the ads going in the background. So for the 1 and 2 right here, I've got this set as lethal and lethal and non-lethal. So the top one here is going to be like my grenades, Molotovs, whatever it may be. And then the back one, this would be like your heartbeat sensor, or I'm not a big heartbeat sensor user. Stuns mainly for me is what I have here. This is going to be my stun. Okay, so those are the 4 buttons that I have on this. Now, keep in mind, if you have a mouse that just has 2 buttons here, more than likely they're going to have 2 buttons on the top like this for your DPI up and down. And if it's a large brand mouse like Logitech, Razer, things like that, generally they have a software on the computer where you can change any of these buttons the way you want. So if it were me, and if you want to like use the settings that I have on my mouse, but you don't necessarily have all those buttons on the side, typically 2 buttons is common on a gaming mouse on the thumb, right? You could set 2 of them on the side for like ping and melee is probably what I would recommend. And then come in with these 2 buttons on the top that are generally off to the side or to the left, usually of your left click. Usually going to have an up and down that would turn your DPI up and down. But if you change that and remove those functions, I would probably put there like your lethal and non-lethal right there to the left of your left click. That way you're still getting those 4 buttons there on the mouse without it, being all clumped together. And or trying to figure out how you're going to put these 2 actions onto the Azeron and overcomplicate it. You want to have the perfect balance of what's being used in one hand and what in the other, right? So that they mesh well together. This is what I've found does that for me. So I'd highly recommend you guys give this a try. Let me know what you think. If there's any additional questions with this, guys, I stream almost daily on Facebook. If you go in Facebook and search Filthy Saint, one word, or if you've got the Facebook gaming app, you can search Filthy Saint as well on there. Or if you just have a browser, it's fb.gg/Filthy Saint TV, and that'll take you over to our page. We're live most nights around 7:30 Mountain Standard Time to about 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I'd love to see you there. I'm happy to answer any more questions with this. Go ahead as well, guys. If you are maybe haven't purchased your Azeron yet, or this is something you're looking at getting, at the very end of checkout, go ahead and apply a promo code of Filthy Saint. It'll give you an additional 5% off on top of any additional discounts or promotions they've got going on right now. It'll stack on top of that. So go ahead and throw that in there. Get yourself the best price you can on these. I love my Azeron, guys. I I cannot play without it now. I just am absolutely in love with this. The company's been great to me to work with. As I have been promoting their products. I'm the type of person that I don't promote something I don't personally believe in, and that also goes for the company side of it as well, right? I love the product. I love the company. They're great to work with. They take care of their customers. I mean, there's not really much more good that I can say other than what I have. It's a great product and a great company. And if you haven't already checked it out, guys, I would highly recommend you make the decision and be patient with the transition. It'll be worth it for you. It'll help you in the end. I love it. Okay. Appreciate you guys. I hope to see you on the stream. We do giveaways every month as well for our supporters. So if you want to become a supporter over on Facebook, I've got currently have like one of my mouse, the Logitech G604 that I'm giving away, a brand new 144 hertz monitor that we're giving away, a Logitech C920 webcam, also a pair of my earbuds. People constantly ask about these are CCA C10s. Got a bunch of fun stuff. We give these away every single month to our supporters. So come join us, guys. Be a part, ask questions. Let me know what else I can do for you. Until then, appreciate y'all. Much love, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.